All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Queens Lair. Now, don't get scared. You are in the right place. For the new year, Miss Kellie Miles is doing just a little something because you guys have been asking so much about her, trying to get her backstory, trying to figure out how to continue to connect with her. So I am here to help you out. My name is Brieana Ofosu. I am a radio show host and a personality as well. And I have had the honor to connect with Kellie Miles, and we are getting ready to interview the host. So you're going to get to know all about Miss Kellie Miles, the Queens Lair, her nonprofit organ. Hold on. I'm getting ready to tell you everything, but let me just read you a little bit of her bio before I have her come on. So make sure you get excited for this. Kellie Miles is a native of Philadelphia, PA, a proud wife to Andre Miles, mother of a blended family of 4 children, a grandmother of 1 grandson, and has a fur baby named Onyx. In addition to her deep love for and devotion to Christ, her passions are the arts, leadership development, building and maintaining relationships, challenging thought processes to encourage mindset changes, and helping women to see their value from God's perspective. She is the proprietor of Virtuous Woman Queens Lair LLC, which is a women's empowerment group, the founder of and president of VWQL Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and the creator and host of a Christian talk show called the Queens Lair. Each endeavor, which aligns with her passion for the arts, aims to enrich and empower members of the community through biblical principles, providing programs and resources designed to enhance personal and professional development. In 2020, Kellie earned her BA from Villanova University, graduating magna cum laude with a concentration in interdisciplinary leadership studies. As a result of her academic efforts, remaining on the dean's list all 4 years, Kellie is an honorable member of 3 honor societies: Golden Key International Honor Society, the National Society of Collegiate Scholars, and Alpha Sigma Lambda Mu Chapter Honor Society. In addition to her educational pursuits, Kellie has garnished a certification in Leadership Infused Values and Leadership Excellence from the Disney Institute. In November 2022, she also completed the Women's Leadership Online Certificate Program from the University of Delaware. Kellie is energetic, creative, fun, outgoing, funny, loves to cook, and in her spare time likes to ride her bicycle, dance, watch movies with her family, and eat good food. She also loves to act, learn, write skits, short plays, and functions as a workshop facilitator. So if that didn't get you excited, if that didn't get you going, then I'm going to bring the lady herself on, Miss Kellie Miles. Welcome to the Queens Lair. This is your stage, but welcome to the Queens Lair.
Hello. Hi, Brieana. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. It's crazy because I'm listening to this bio and I'm just like, wait, I did all that? That's crazy. I can't even believe my own self because, we never give ourselves, I guess, the proper credit or accolades for the things that we actually accomplish. So when I hear it, because I was made to write a bio at some point, but when you sit down and write it down, you just sit back and like, wow, I actually did do some nice things. That's amazing. It's crazy because sometimes I sit back and it's like, I don't feel like I've done anything.
You don't feel... Yeah, listen, you're speaking to me right now. You are absolutely speaking to me. I was gonna say, sometimes you hear all the things, you're like, yeah, I've been in this for some time and I don't feel like I'm where I want to be, but you listen back and you're like, I am pretty dope. I am pretty awesome. And that you are.
Thank you.
So welcome to all of the people who are coming back to the Queens Lair for another year. This is January. We're starting anew and afresh. So one of the things, again, that we wanted to do was interview Miss Kellie Miles, because you know the host, you know that she's bringing people on to kind of talk about their own ministry. You know that she's bringing people on to spread their own missions. But maybe you want a little bit more information about her missions, a little bit, outside of the Queens Lair. So we brought you on. We're going to interview you so people can learn how to connect with you. So this is exciting. So now we're turning it around. Now you're getting interviewed.
And it's funny because I was actually nervous. Like, I've had guests get on and they're like, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm like, don't be nervous. You're overthinking it. Now I'm sitting here like
And now
on
you're
the
on
other
the
end.
other end and you get it.
Right. Mhm.
Well, I just read that super colorful bio. Tell me a little bit about your journey just kind of into television and entertainment. Because you've done like a lot of really collegiate and academic things. So tell me a little bit about your journey into, kind of the television entertainment side of things.
Well, I would say when it comes to entertainment, I've always been all things theater. I'm an artist, so I love acting. I love theater. I love stage plays. I love movies. I love all of those things when it comes to entertainment. But I've always been the type of person to get on stage, do my thing, and then get off stage. And then I want to be seen. I want to be in the background. So, I've told this story 1,000 times, but I did not want to be a talk show host. I didn't want to do it because I felt like I'm putting too much emphasis on me, and I didn't want to be in a spotlight. I didn't want people to look at me and put me on this pedestal or something like that. So I actually started my women's club, which is the baby of everything, which is the Virtuous Woman Queens Lair LLC. So the women's club is where it all stemmed from and started. And so I was doing that. I knew that this is what God wanted me to do as far as the women's group. So I was all in, but it started to turn into like an event planning thing. And that's not what it was supposed to be for. It wasn't supposed to be event planning, but I started to do that. And so it started to kind of fall apart. So I prayed and I said, all right, Lord, what is it that I'm doing wrong that this is not working? And so I got introduced by a lady named Miss Tony J. And Miss Tony J was like, you would be great as a talk show host. And I was like, what? I ain't nobody host. Me? No, no, I don't want to be in the forefront of anything. And so, she kept talking to me about it. And I said no. And then it took me about a year. I want to say in 2018, I said no. And then finally one day after that, it was just like, I went to God and I said, now that everything is falling apart, what do I do? And so I took a sabbatical. I took a sabbatical for like 9 months. And during that sabbatical, it literally was like labor pains because I was going through the process, pretty much fighting what God wanted me to do. And then finally at the end of it, I came out and he was like, I said, what is it? And he said, didn't I tell you to do the talk show? And so I was like,
you're being hard-headed, sis.
I was being hard. I told him no at first, and now everything falling apart. And he was like, you wanted to do it your way. Now it's not working. And so if you do it the way I'm telling you to do it, then it'll work. And so I went back to going to Miss Tony J. I got, set up for the whole host thing. And ever since I started doing it, it's been working, and I've just been doing pretty good with it. And so and that's how it kind of started. And so now it's just a matter of me continuing and trying to make sure that it's relevant, making sure that we're impactful, making sure that we're reaching the audience of people that God wants us to reach.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. And, one of the things that you said too about, just kind of, because I think I've struggled with that as well, is making sure that what we're doing is not becoming about us, and that it's still about the purpose behind it and still about the people that you're trying to reach. So how did you find kind of that balance in being out in the front and doing that ministry, and then, getting to other ladies, getting to other women, and continuing to make it something that's purposeful?
It's still a struggle sometimes because honestly, everybody has a story and everybody has a busy life. Everybody has something going on. So it's always trying to find out what is important to people. And so what I'll do sometimes, we just started this year, is doing an open forum and trying to meet with some of the community members and saying, hey, what's important to you? What matters to you? What topics are relevant? Because some topics that are relevant for mothers may not be relevant to women who are going through a transition in life, who are seniors, and women who are, starting to become more or lose their independence because they're more reliant on others, their family members now. So people are going through different phases and different things. And so trying to reach out to the community is one way that I have found that I can get a sense of what's important and, allowing those people to have a voice to say what they want to talk about. And so that's how I try to find a balance there to stay relevant and reaching out to different groups of individuals at different levels in their lives.
Right, right. Yeah. And one of the things that I really, really enjoy just about the Queen's Lair is your ability to do like that cross sectionality. So you're
Mhm.
talking to the young women, you're talking to the women who are more seasoned, you're talking to the divorcees, you're talking to the widows. And I think that that's so important because we never quite realize, what we can learn from one another. So
Mhm.
you're talking to all of those different demographics. What's something that you see just across the board for Christian women, for women who are, that you're talking to your demographic?
I would say one of the biggest things that I've noticed when it comes to women across the board is confidence and loving themselves and not comparing themselves in their accomplishments to others.
Right,
It seems like a lot of women, especially on social media, we had an episode called Subconscious Comparisons, and a lot of women compare themselves to others and they compare their place in life with where someone else is, but you're at two different points in your timeline, so you can't compare. And even if you're doing the same thing that somebody else is doing, it's okay. You don't have to compare, because the audience that God has for you to reach is going to be completely different than the audience
completely
that the
different.
other woman has to reach. So we don't have to compete. We have to work in accord, in one accord, to reach these people and learn from our different experiences so that we can be even more impactful when it comes to the kingdom, and
Right,
realize that as long as we're
right.
not doing it for ourselves, that God is the one who's directing us and leading us, then we don't have to worry about feeling like we can't do it, because in all honesty, we of our own volition can't. But as long as we
Absolutely.
saturate ourselves in God and in his word,
Yeah.
nothing is impossible
Saturate.
for
It's one of
him.
my favorite words. Saturate is one
Yes.
of my favorite words. Absolutely. I love it. That is absolutely true. Now, one of the things I also wanted to get into, because I didn't know this myself. So I read the bio. So maybe this might be one of my questions as the audience.
Okay.
So
Shoot.
you have a nonprofit organization. Please tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So, yes, I have a nonprofit organization, which is somewhat of a spinoff from the LLC, because I wanted to do the LLC is focused on women, because that's what ministry God gave me, is a
Right.
heart for women. But I also am an artist, and I wanted to also reach the community as a whole. And I have mostly boys. Okay. I have one
Right.
daughter, like I said, within my blended family, they're mostly boys. And then I have my one daughter, but I wanted to make sure I could reach the men too. So I wanted to develop something within the community that addressed all of those avenues. And so the nonprofit, we have a program it's called VWQL Foundation is the name of the nonprofit, but we have a program within that organization called the LISO program. And that's the primary program right now that is active. So I'll share that mostly with you. LISO stands for Living Epistles, Sharing Our Experiences. And it's an artistic movement where we're taking the arts to the street, visiting underserved members of the
Ooh.
community, like those in homeless shelters.
Right.
And we bring all kinds of different art forms. We bring a production, like a dramatic production, based on the experiential stories of the artist, as well as modernized biblical stories, so people can connect. And we're not doing it just for entertainment, even though it's nice, because they can't go to the movies, they can't go to plays, they can't go to those things. So we're bringing it to them.
Right.
But the main goal is to challenge their thought processes, which will encourage and inspire a mindset change, and also encourage behavior modification, where they can look at these plays and say, wow, that person went through all of that and they're still standing and still moving. Well, then I can take away certain things. And we're not out here preaching Jesus, because not everybody want to hear that. We're preaching our
Right.
stories. We're talking about our stories and sharing where we went and how we went from tragedy to triumph. That's what we're sharing. How we came from
I love
a
that.
place where we felt like it's the bottom of the barrel, to where we've climbed up. And even if we're not at the top, we've made it halfway. How can you get
Yeah.
there? This is what helped you. So that's kind of what we're doing. And it just so happens that our stories, it involves Jesus helping us get through. So if that works for you, great. But if
Ministration of a
not,
love. I see what you did there.
you
Sprinkle,
see what I'm
sprinkle
saying?
it in there.
You sprinkle it in there.
You
But if
sprinkled
it
it in
works for
there.
them, great.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is awesome. And I think one of the things you said that's super powerful as well, reaching people in a way that they'll understand. right? Because
Yes.
I think a lot of the time, I myself know as a millennial as well that, sometimes the current ways or the traditional ways, if you will, don't quite spark that understanding in the way that our grandmothers and great grandmothers want us to. And I think that really what's so empowering is the different and creative ways that you're finding to touch people in a different tongue, in a different language, so that it's something they understand, but then still get the message, because that's what's important. That's
Yes.
that's what the overarching theme is. So I think
Yes.
that that's so powerful that you did that. What made you take the arts to the street? Because you're
So
a girl from Philly, so I in case anyone didn't know that, there's another little sprinkle for you. But what made you do that?
So I guess when it goes back to that sabbatical that I had in 2018, and I think one of the things that I felt like I was struggling is because I did not have enough of the arts in what I was doing. And arts is who I am. It's part of who I am. So I have to include myself and who I am in what I'm doing. And so when I took that sabbatical, and it was like, okay, well, this is for women, but that's not working for the community at large. What can I do? And after I sat down and I prayed and I talked to my mom, who's been, the biggest supporter in a lot of this, and it just came to this, where taking the arts. And the other thing was my younger son, he loved helping homeless people. We would go and driving down, coming from Philly, going to Philly, and we would be driving past. I can't think of it. It's right where I forget where the section is anyway. So for sake of time, I'll tell you, it was like under this bridge when you're coming from the bridge area, going to Ben Franklin. And there was somebody who was there, and he was standing there in a soldier position, and he just stood there and he was looking for money. And my son went in his pocket and asked me to stop. And all he had was like 18 cents. And he gave that 18 cents to that homeless person. And the homeless person just went like this and saluted him. And it made his heart the happiest as ever. We have done in some of our previous churches, he has fed the homeless, and he loved that. And so for me, I felt like these are the people who are downtrodden, and these are the people who need the help. These are the people who feel like they're ostracized and feel like they've been, left behind, and that no one cares about them. So these are the people that maybe we need to go bring the word to them and let them know we see you. We know that what you're going through and where you are is a phase in life. It doesn't have to be where you stay. You just have to change your mindset of where you are and grow through this hard spot so that you can get to where God has for you to be, and use this as your testimony.
My goodness, that is awesome. And one of the things that I thought that was so sweet of your son also, but really something for us to learn too. You see a homeless person and you see someone who may not live up to a standard that you think things are supposed to look like. You step over them, you discount them, you count them out. And he saw a soldier. Your son
Yes,
saw a soldier. Your
he
son saw
did.
somebody who, had this identity in the past or did this thing in the past and spoke to that. And he's like, yeah, I'm homeless right now, but I was a soldier. I was someone that was respected. So your son took that time to find that out. And I see where he gets it from, because his mom is out here doing it as well. So that is fantastic. That is awesome. That is
Yes.
really, really awesome. Do you have, any big things that you have kind of partnered with, like any homeless population or, any organizations in doing in the past that you maybe want to speak to?
I mean, we've done different places. We have some places coming up. I don't want to speak to them specifically because I know that some people, some facilities that we visited are very private with certain
Okay.
things because of
Right.
security purposes. So
Sure.
I don't want to say their specific names, but there are quite a few places, and I have to say that they were so touched. I mean, we've sat down, because we sit down with them and talk with them and ask them, is this valuable to you? If we come out here, are you interested in a play, or would you rather a concert where you can hear singing? Like, what's important to you? And then we talk about what what some of the things that they're struggling with, that we can even create plays to address. And we've had almost counseling sessions where some of them really poured out and cried and was so excited about what we were doing. And they even wanted us to come. They say, can y'all start next week? Can you come every week? Because they wanted to. I mean, we've even had some people say, hey, can I go with you? And that's the other thing. We're developing some classes, fundamentals of acting classes, that we can take to the facilities for those people who are interested in acting, so that they can tour with us and maybe share their story. And that can be a place where it breaks them through from the shelter. They can say, you know what, from the shelter, I went on tour with this organization and it brought out my gift and and now I want to go to school for acting. And we can help them to do that so that it gets them to where their voice is heard. So those
really
are just some
see
of the
that
things.
potential.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. That is so beautiful. I absolutely I love it. I love it. Tell us a little bit about just kind of your team here at the Queens Lair. So this is the time, like who has really, I know you talked about Miss Tony. If you can just kind of give us some people that maybe you want to shout out for you know, the awesomeness that has been the Queens Lair thus far.
Or you're going to put me on the spot. Okay.
So thank you to everybody. Thank you to everyone who has been here. Thank you to everyone who has shown up. But these are the people that are really, you know, keeping us here on your screens, keeping Miss Kellie Miles in front of you by the grace of God. So just a few.
So yes,
nobody feel bad. Okay.
To name a few, I will say some of the key players in where I am right now. First, other than Miss Tony J, because we mentioned her because she was the one who kind of started this. I would also say my mom. Yes, because she's kind of like my ride or die. She's always there. She's always checking me to make sure that I'm staying aligned with what God told me to do. She's making sure that the structure part, because I'm a creative, so I'm all over the place. Oh, I see you doing all kinds of stuff.
You get a download at 3 a.m. You want to do it, but you don't know you didn't get that. Yeah.
Right. And my mom, she reeling it back in like, okay, wait a minute. How are you going to do that? Okay, let's put together the strategic plan. So my mom, my husband, of course, because he is my backbone. He's my support in almost everything that I do. So my husband, and he's always pushing me and telling me, you can do this. You know, he's always telling me, why don't you go ahead? Why don't you try it? And so I have to give a shout out to him. And then Michelle Snow, who's my coach, my business coach, because she's been the one to kind of help from the very beginning when I was going through those labor pains and all that stuff a few years ago, who kind of sat down with me, drawing out what some ideas and how we can get people together and involved and how we can reel it in so that we have a focus point and what we're trying to do, and putting that business plan together, and then being the support to continue to push me and put me out there and say, hey, let me see you do this, challenging me, you know, so that I can try to branch out from my comfort level. So those are, I guess, and of course my kids, because, you know, they always are inspiring me and encouraging me and being there and being gracious to me for times like this when I have to take a moment so that they, it's taken away from them. So they're gracious with me. So I appreciate them for those moments as well. So those are the few people. Of course, there's so many guests and like we said, everybody who has been there to support, but those are the few people that I would say.
Awesome. Well, listen, there you have it. We've got Miss Kellie Miles. This has been awesome for us to connect with you. Do you have any way that we can connect with you offline outside of the TV screen on, maybe social media or anything like that?
Yes. So you can always send an email to info@VWQueensLair.org. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at VW Queens Lair. You can always find us on VW Queens Lair on Instagram and on Facebook. So those are the ways that you can even check out our website. Our website is www.VWQueensLair.org. You can see the consistency there. I do that so that way it's easy for everyone. All you have to do is remember VW Queens Lair and you'll be able to find us.
That is awesome. Well, listen, thank you, Miss Kellie Miles, for giving us some more insight about you. If you are interested in connecting with the Queens Lair, you found out how. So make sure you do that. If you're looking to come on, talk about something, be a guest, reach out in another way. If you're in the Philadelphia area, we would absolutely love to have you. And Miss Kellie, I want to thank you for giving me the honor to interview you, to help others learn more about you and help me learn some more about you as well.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to just even more from this and where God is going to take us next.
So one of the things that I do, Kellie, on Faith and Fashion 360, so that was like my own little shameless plug. One of the things that I like to do at the end of the show is take our listeners into a faithful moment. So that can be an anecdote, a scripture, a lyric, just a little something that maybe even you saw on a billboard to motivate them into the rest of the week. So right now I want you to do a faithful moment, just something for your audience, for, people who may come back and see this episode, just something for them to hear. So you take it away.
Yes. So I'm going to go with, I had to look it up first. So I believe it's Romans 8:28 is going to be mine.
Amen.
8:28 is what I'm going to go
with.
Yes. Let me look at it's because I want to make sure that I say it right. Yes, 8:28. So my faithful moment is that, did I say it right?
Yes. Yep, you did.
I would say it's Romans 8:28. For we know all things work together for the good, for those who love God and who are called according to his purpose. And I say that is because that's the one scripture that comes to mind, is because, just like everybody else, I have so many things that's going on in my life as far as, stresses and, distractions, devastations. It's so many things that we all deal with. And sometimes when we're going through those moments, we feel like it's just too much. It's overwhelming. It's too much pressure. God, why are you doing this? Why am I going through these things? But we have to remember that all of those things work for our good, even when it's not favorable, even when it's not the thing that we want to happen, even for that thing that we have prayed so hard for, and we have stood on our faith and believed and trusted God that this is going to work out exactly this way because I'm standing in faith, and then it doesn't happen the way that you want. Right. That moment, you have to realize that it's not about me. It's about God. And he knows what he's doing. We have to trust in those moments that he knows what he's doing. And even when it doesn't work out in our favor the way we intend or planned or want it to, that it all still works out for our good and that God will be glorified in us. And we just have to realize that he knows what he's doing because he sees the bigger picture for me and for everybody else. So all things, even those things not favorable and even those things that are bad or indifferent, all things work together for our good.
Amen. Amen. If that's not a faithful moment, I don't know what is. Thank you so much. That is awesome.
Before we close, though, before you close out, I want you to tell people a little bit about you and as the host, the guest host, a little bit about you and what you do so that they know who you are as the guest host as well. And then you can go ahead and close us out.
Awesome. So again, my name is Brieana Ofosu. I am a plus size model, a pageant winner. I am also a radio show host as well. My show is called Faith and Fashion 360. It airs every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. on funknationradio.com. I am also a wardrobe stylist. So I do a little bit of everything fashionable and beautified, and I love to empower women to do the same, just increase their confidence and their Godfidence. So you can connect with me on all of my social media platforms. I am Brieana.Zahida on Instagram, Brieana Ofosu on Facebook, Brieana O on TikTok. Where else am I? I'm a little bit of everywhere, but I can give you my link tree. We'll post that and put that somewhere, and then you'll find out how to connect everywhere else. So we are going to go ahead and close out for the Queens Lair. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for watching The Queen's Lair. Stay tuned for the next episode.